Welcome to Study Time, a televised home learning program produced by Rwanda Education Board.
Hello students, Teacher Benon. This is TV learning program. I will be taking Senior 1 students in biology. As you see here, I have different objects. For the first one I have, to get it, this is what I did. I got a container, I put there soil, I added water, then I put there this plant. It was very small, it was very short, but then after some time, as you see, it has grown up. I check it after every 7 days, and I see it growing, growing, growing. I also have this. What is it? This is dry wood. I also have this. What is it? This is a stone. Now, how are these three different objects different? Yes, this one is a plant. This one is dry wood. And this one is a stone. Who can give us another difference? This one needs oxygen and water. That means who can give us another difference? The plant gets water and minerals from the soil, meaning it feeds. As I told you at the beginning, it was short and small. Now you can see it has increased in size, which means it grows. Very good. Then, this plant, where I got it, there were many plants, which means plants do what? Reproduce. When wind blows, I see the branches and leaves moving. I also said at the beginning it was small, now it has increased in size, which means another point. This plant gets light, which means it can sense the environment. As time goes by, I see water within this container decreasing, which means it gets water and then it uses it, and part of it can be lost through leaves. That means so my question is, can this dry wood grow? Can it increase in size so that at least I find it here? Not. Can this stone grow? Can it increase in size? It cannot. Can this stone move from this place and reach here on its own? It cannot. So which means this plant is living, the dry wood and stone are non-living. So living organisms are able to respire, to feed, to grow, reproduce, move from one place to another, sense the environment, whether it is hot or cold, and excrete. When we say excretion, what does it mean? It means removing waste products from the body, like excess water. Plants give out oxygen, animals give out carbon dioxide, and so on. So these 7 traits show that an organism is living. And in most cases, we talk about plants and animals in which subject? Biology. Very good. When you see this term biology, it is divided into 2. There is bio. There is also another word which means logos. These are 2 Greek words. Bio means life, and logos means study, or we can even say knowledge. So from there, who can define the term biology? Yes, biology is the study of living organisms. Or we can even say biology is the study of life, like we have seen, which means this plant is a living organism because we have seen traits or characteristics which show living organism. Biology has different branches. Who can tell us one branch of biology? Yes, we can have taxonomy. Another branch, we can have cytology. We can also have yes, who can give us another branch of biology? Good. We can have anatomy, another branch of biology. We can have physiology. Who can give us another branch of biology? We can have genetics. We can also have entomology. We can have ecology. We can have microbiology. We can also have biotechnology. Biotechnology, yes. These are different branches of biology. Let us start with branch number 1. When we talk about taxonomy. What does it mean? Taxonomy means the study of classification of organisms. Taxonomy is the study of classification of organisms. How do we classify organisms? Like you know, we have different groups of organisms. We have animals, we have plants, and other organisms which are not in those groups. What do we do to classify them? First of all, we identify them. Yes, there is identification of the organism, there is nomenclature of the organism, and then classification of the organism. Identification means identifying that this organism is new. After identifying this organism, we can name it. Then after naming this organism, we have to classify it. We classify the organism according to the nucleus structure. We first see the nucleus of this organism, and we see, does it have plant or animal nucleus? After seeing the structure of the nucleus, then we can see the external morphology. The external morphology means what? It means the external structure, how it looks like outside. Then after this, we can also see or identify the function of this organism. The function of this organism. What does this organism do? How does it work? After that, we can also have or check the relationship between this organism and other organisms. How does this organism relate with others? In terms of feeding, does it eat other organisms? Which organisms eat it? How does it protect itself? Like that. So from there, then we can be able to classify the organism. That one, we learn it in taxonomy. Taxonomy is the study of classification of organisms. Another branch of biology is cytology. Cytology is the study of cells. Good. Where can we find cells? Plants have cells, animals have cells, which means we can have plant cells. We can also have animal cells. With cytology, we check the structure of the cell. Let us say here we have animal cell. This cell has the internal part. This one, we call it nucleus. This one is cytoplasm. Then this one is the cell membrane. So here we check about the structure of the animal cell. So cytologists are people who study cells, who can see the structure of the cell and functions of those structures. Another branch of biology is taxonomy. It is anatomy. What does the word anatomy mean? Anatomy means the study of structures of organisms. Anatomy is the study of structures of organisms. Here, when we are talking about organism, we need to know which parts make that organism. Take an example. If we are talking about animal cell, you see it has nucleus, it has cytoplasm, it has cell membrane. Meaning, with anatomy, we need to know the structures of the organism. Example, as you see here, we have the skeletal system. This one shows us different bones that make the human skeleton. When you check, we can have like the skull, we can have ribs, we can have the humerus, we have radius and ulna, we have femur, we have tibia, and then behind we have fibula. Those are some of the bones that make this human skeleton. So when we are talking about anatomy, that means we need to know the structures of organisms. When you see this human skeleton, it has about 206 bones. So those bones make the structure of the human skeleton. Another branch of biology is physiology. Physiology is the study of functions of different parts of an organism. Now, let us say we are talking about animal cell. With physiology, we need to know the function of the nucleus. Let us say the nucleus controls the activities of the cell. Cytoplasm. The cytoplasm contains small structures of the cell. Cell membrane. Cell membrane protects the internal parts of the cell. It also allows materials to go inside the cell, those which are useful, and the ones which are not useful, they go outside. So with physiology, we talk about functions of different parts. With anatomy, we talk about structures of different organisms. Take an example here. We have talked about human skeleton. We have seen that in anatomy, we identify the structures, and then in physiology, we talk about functions of those structures. Example, we know one of the functions of the human skeleton is protection. Protection. Whereby this skeleton will protect internal delicate organs of the body. Take an example, the cranium will protect the brain. Ribs will protect internal delicate organs like heart and lungs. Another function of the skeleton is to give the shape the organism. As you see, this skeleton has long bones like humerus, like femur. It also has flat bones like clavicle. Those ones have what we call bone marrow, and the function of bone marrow is to produce blood cells. So, with anatomy, we talk about functions of different parts. Then another part or another branch of biology is genetics. This one is the study of the transfer of characteristics from one generation to another, from parents to offspring. Here we can say the transfer of traits from parents to children. Here we can give an example of blood group. We can give an example of height. We can give an example of eye color and hair color. Those are characteristics which are transferred from parents to offspring through what we call genes. So when we are learning genetics, we talk much about genes, which are important in the transfer of characteristics from parents to offspring. Another branch of biology is entomology. Entomology is the study of insects. Good. Is the study of insects. Can we give examples of insects? Bees, very good example because bees are common. Ants are also insects. Then wasps are also insects. How are bees important? Bees are important because they produce honey. Bees are also important because they pollinate our plants. Bees pollinate. They pollinate plants so that we can get more plants. Then how are ants important? Ants are important because they cause soil aeration. That means they can make the soil breathe. Then wasps are also important because they can eat pests, plant pests. When we say plant pests, we mean small organisms which can destroy our plants. Example, we can have green fly. We can also have caterpillar. These are examples of pests which destroy our plants. So wasps can eat them, and when they eat them, that means our plants grow well. Another branch of biology is ecology. Who can tell us the meaning of ecology? The study of relationship between organisms and environment. Interactions between organisms and environment. How do organisms interact with environment? Take an example. When this plant is in the environment, it needs carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide is in the air. When this plant is in the environment, it needs water and minerals from the soil. How do animals interact with environment? They need oxygen from the air. They give out carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide is needed by plants. So that interaction between organisms and the environment is what we learn in ecology. The last part is microbiology. Microbiology is the study of microorganisms. Here we can give example of bacteria and virus. These are microorganisms because we cannot see them with our eyes. Some are dangerous because they cause diseases. Example, HIV is a virus which causes AIDS. ABV is a virus which causes Ebola. We also have other viruses. We also have bacteria which cause diseases, and some bacteria are also good for environment, like we say cyanobacteria, which is important in nitrogen cycle. The last part is biotechnology. Biotechnology is the study of living organisms and use them in research, industry, and agriculture. Here, when we talk about living organisms, those are microorganisms, especially bacteria. So, dear students, we have seen biology, we have defined what biology is, and we have seen different branches of biology. Here we can talk about taxonomy, cytology, anatomy, physiology, genetics, entomology, ecology, microbiology, and biotechnology. I would like to thank you for your time and active participation. And this is the homework you are going to do about what we have learned today. Then next time, we will start by answering together these questions. But make sure you do them. Thank you.